be honest. But obviously me and Sim go head to head in predicting all the Premier League outcomes. We have a scoring system, which is 5 points for a completely correct scoreline, 1 point for a correct result. And the star man, once you pick that man, you can't pick them again for the rest of the season. 5 points for a goal, 2 points for an assist. And let's see how we got on. So obviously it's 23 to me, 14 to Sim. And first up was Chelsea, where it finished 2-0 to Chelsea. Sim went for 1-1. I went for 2-1. So I gain another point for that one. And look, this game has all been spoken about, that Fulham disallowed goal. Like seriously?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
How are we still sitting here and talking about these shocking decisions? Like that robbed me of a 5 pointer, that it did.
I reckon I would have got a 5 point if that went in, because he would have put Fulham 1-0 up, and I think it changes the game. But Chelsea I don't think Chelsea were great on top of that as well, but Fulham were much better in the first half. And then when that goal gets chalked off, it took the wind out of their sails. You see that sense of injustice Marco Silva was feeling. I think the Fulham players started to feel it as well. That goal, that I think there's a good case to say it was a foul on Muniz rather than a foul by him. Chalobah, I think it is, literally just plants his foot below him, and all he is he's doing a pirouette. And I just think Chelsea got massively lucky on that occasion. And then they obviously score from a corner. They're becoming the corner kings, by the way, this season, Chelsea.
João Pedro's very dangerous, isn't he, in the box?
Getting these headers in the 6-yard box, 1-0 up, and then they get a dodgy penalty. I mean, it's a penalty, but the way they got it was, João Pedro handles it, and then it falls to Chalobah, and then Cesarion handles it. They just got lucky with that moment, made it 2-0, and saw the game off. But I don't know, Chelsea were really poor in that first half, and I think they'll count themselves lucky how the game went. They got all 3 points.
Yeah, but look, all in all, decent start to the season for Chelsea. 2 wins and a draw, so can't really complain at this moment in time. Next up is Manchester United 3, Burnley 2. We both went for 1-0. I mean, it could have been like 4-0 to Man United in the early stages of the game. They were absolutely peppering Burnley, but just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And then it was just like the scoreline was just toing and froing. I was seeing all the goals coming in. I was like, what the hell is going on? Man U, I think, finally went 2-1 up. And then Burnley got one back, and then a last-minute goal from Bruno Fernandes.
Shocking decision, again, in my opinion. In the end, it's not a penalty. I don't think that's a penalty. I think that Man United massively got away with
97th minute.
I think they got lucky. They got really lucky to get that penalty. And I think Amorim's lucky to still be in a job. I'm not going to lie. He is lucky to still be in a job. I know they peppered them in the first half. Look, they're playing at home to Burnley. You should really expect that. But second half, they shut the bed. They didn't put the game to bed. Burnley came back into it. First of all, they were lucky that as well, that Burnley had a goal chalked off with the most minuscule of offsides. And I think that would have put them 3-2 up, or I think at the time.
I don't even think that was offside, man.
It wasn't offside. It wasn't offside. I think it was ridiculous call again. I think they gave it the tiniest bit of the T-shirt. They got so lucky that I got called. And I think that would have put Burnley 3-2 up. And that was really, really lucky at the time. They were so open. They kept conceding chances, and I think Burnley were better than them in that second half. And I know United were better in the first half and could have been 3 up, but Burnley were better in the second. And I think United were very lucky to have gotten that last minute, that last gasp penalty, and for a shirt pull, which I think if you're going to give penalties for that, you should be giving 3 or 4 penalties a game, because those kind of incidences happen like so often. And I think United can count their lucky stars, and I think Ruben Amorim can count themselves lucky to still be in a job, because off the back of going out to Grimsby, they should be looking at this game thinking it should be a walk in the park. And to win 3-2 with a last-minute dodgy penalty against the worst team in the league, that is for me another red flag. I'm sorry, he shouldn't really be getting any credit for that.
But yeah, I get that, and I do agree. But aside from that, when you're talking about the level of officiating in this league now, we're talking about the Chelsea game, the Manchester United game. There's going to be a decision that we're going to talk about in the next game. Like, literally, I felt like this week, every game, all we were talking about is refereeing decisions. When are we going to start looking at these bloody PGMOL idiots and talking about the guys that are making these decisions? Like the guy in the Chelsea game got taken off VAR for the Arsenal game later on in the weekend.
Because it was a mistake. They admitted a mistake in the Fulham game.
It's all very well and good admitting mistakes every weekend, but we need to cut out these mistakes. And that's not happening.
Yep. And this has been an age-old question. How do we do it? Is it about funding? Is it about, do we maybe start looking abroad to other referees? It's something that we just haven't been able to get ahead of.
I don't know, like, so I don't watch enough football outside of the Premier League. Do other countries go through what we're going through, where the level of officiating is just so bad?
Probably.
The people that are managing the VAR is just so bad. I don't know if it's as bad outside of England as it is in England.
I know. I can
And the
tell
Premier
you,
League has got the most money out of everyone.
That's the thing. I can tell you there's controversies all over. So we're not the only ones to have big controversies, but maybe it's more publicised here, or maybe there are more here. I don't know, but I can tell you there are controversies all around Europe when it comes to refereeing.
Well, that's that. 1 point each for that game. Moving on to Tottenham 0, Bournemouth 1. Both of us went for Spurs wins, unfortunately. Look, Bournemouth, well-deserved victory, 1-0 at half-time, and it could have been 3 or 4, let's be honest. They absolutely peppered us. Pedro Porro will be having nightmares of Antoine Semenyo. And, the only time Spurs turned up was really in the last 5-10 minutes when we were pressing for that equaliser. Didn't really come close enough. But yeah, well-deserved victory for Bournemouth. But again, look, let's be honest. The refereeing decision didn't impact the game in terms of the result because of the way Bournemouth played. But Simon Hooper has got to be one of the worst referees in this league. I've watched his 3 games this season. I can't remember who the first 2 were against. And every single game, the guy is clueless, man. He is really clueless. He should have sent off Antoine Semenyo in this game for a double yellow card. Like, I don't understand how that second yellow card is not given. And aside from that as well, there were countless amount of decisions, literally so many, that he was getting wrong consistently throughout the game. This guy is clueless, I'm telling you.
Yeah, definitely should have been sent off Semenyo, but I think Bournemouth got away with that one when Richarlison stopped a counter-attack, clipped the back of his heel, should have been sent off. But fair play to Bournemouth because it's one of the most one-sided 1-0s you've ever likely to see. Bournemouth tactically outdid Tottenham, outdid Frank. They got the better of us fair and square. We barely created a chance, and they should have scored 3 if it wasn't for Vicario. It would have been a lot worse than it was. So a lot food for thought for Thomas Frank after a really positive start against Burnley and City. I think back down to earth in this one about how big of a job he's got.
Yeah, the only 2 Spurs players that come out with any credit in this game is Vicario and Mickey van de Ven. And every Bournemouth player comes out with a lot of credit in this game. Iraola, yeah.
What a manager.
Massively. Absolutely. I was twerking for him at the middle of last season. You were like, is Iraola really going to change a needle for us? But next up...
Still, same question.
Yeah. Next up is Sunderland 2, Brentford 1. We both went for 1-1. And you know what? Brentford take the lead in 77th minute, and then they get a penalty in the 82nd minute to make it 1-1. You're like thinking, all right, it's a standard where we pick the same scoreline, 5 points each. But Sunderland said no. 96th minute winner, back-to-back home wins of Sunderland. Good start to life in the Premier League for them.
And they're making some serious moves in the transfer market as well. So if you've got to be very excited if you're a Sunderland fan. Fair play to them. Got 2 wins out of 2 with all these new signings bedding in. To get a win to this point is very impressive. And like every win as well is going to just give them time, breathing space when these signings do get up to speed and they do start to gel. So fair play to them. Burnley will count themselves very unlucky. I think they missed a penalty as well during this game, Burnley. A 1-0 or a 0-0.
Burnley or Brentford?
Brentford, sorry. They missed, Sade missed a penalty at 0-0. They then went 1-0 up and then Sunderland turned it around. But Brentford were a better team for large parts. And it just seemed as though they got a sucker punch near the end and they'll be absolutely gutted by that. But they did show fight and they'll be annoyed they lost this game because they knew it would be a big opportunity to get points. But fair play to Sunderland. Put themselves in a great position. To stay up with the signings and a great start to the season. So a lot to be excited about.
Yeah. Next up is Wolves 2, Everton 3. Both of us went for 1-0 to Everton. The win did come, so a point each. And 2 unbelievable performances from Jack Grealish and Keenan Dewsbury Hall, which really helped Everton get the 3 points in this one. I think it was 1-1. And then Everton went 3-1 up, and then Wolves got one back later on. But Everton having a really good start to the season. Jack Grealish proving a lot of people wrong with his start to life. 4 assists so far for Jack Grealish, and he's really performing at a top level.
Yeah, so it's the Grealish show at the moment. Got his first start last week, got 2 assists, and gets another 2 this week. And he also got a pre-assist for the other goal as well, for his beautiful play. Like, the assists as well. They have like these reverse passes, which really needs vision. He looks like he's playing with this freedom, and he's having fun again. You can see it. I think Moyes is really. I mean, Moyes isn't known for being a manager to let the shackles off, but he seems to be doing it at the moment, and agrees working a treat with Grealish, and seems as though he's got that hunger back in his game, and he seems to be playing with a spring in his step, and it's great to see Grealish in this form. Is a delight to watch, and it's been hard to watch him at City over the last few years. Played like he has been, so it's great to see him play like this now. And
it's mad when you think about it, though, like Pep Guardiola and David Moyes. No. The comparisons of manager, and it's actually David Moyes who has let the shackles off and let him play.
But I think I said this before. Like, I think he just needs to be a club like Everton where he's the main man. It all goes through him, and he just feels like he's the most important player, and it's definitely working for him. Dewsbury Hall as well. Great start to life for him. And Dye's got 2 in 2 last 2 games, so they're doing some really good stuff, and very exciting at the moment for Everton. Looks like they could be in for having a good season with some of the signings they made, and obviously David Moyes, is doing well at the moment. Got worried for Wolves though. Was that 3 defeats in 3?
Yeah,
and no sign of it letting up at the moment, is it?
Yeah, no. I think Wolves are destined to be in a relegation scrap. They did keep hold of Strand Larsen, which will be big for them, but it's not enough. They need more to stay up, and you're looking at them compared to the likes of Sunderland and even Leeds to a certain extent. I mean, they're not looking better than Sunderland at this moment in time.
Only team not to pick up a point.
Is that it? The only team?
Only team.
Wow.
You know who's available though? Their old manager, Lopetegui. Saved them once.
I think they might have to resort to Sean Dyche or something.
Sean Dyche.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they bring Lopetegui back.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Next up, Leeds 0, Newcastle 0. Sim went for 1-1. I went for 0-0. I nearly changed it. Well, I wasn't allowed to change it. I was going to change it, or I wanted to change it to 1-0 to Newcastle. Lucky I wasn't allowed, and I locked in the 0-0 because I get a big fat 5-pointer for this one. Sim gets a 1-pointer. And when I was making the prediction, it kind of panned out how I expected, with a lot of Newcastle injuries, no real firepower up front, with obviously Isaac, who's gone now, Gordon suspended, other injuries in midfield, and I think it kind of played out how most people were expecting, just a bit of a dull 0-0.
Yeah, it was a proper stinkfest. Both teams really lacking quality in the forward line. I think after the game, Sky said it's one of the lowest XG games ever. Since they've kept those records. So I think it goes to show you how difficult it was to watch. I was watching in the studio after the Spurs game, and it was just so boring. I couldn't. I wanted to turn it off. Leeds was really strong. Calvert-Lewin came on. He was struggling to impact the game. And Newcastle really lacked any sort of quality in the front line. Now they're getting Voltmader and they've got Wissa through the door. So that, for them, they'll think that should that solve the issue.
Well, it's obviously it will solve some issue. It's not of the same quality as Alexander Isak.
No, but it's better than what they got at the moment.
Well, yeah, it's better than having no striker. Yeah,
So have Newcastle? Have they put themselves in a position to challenge that 5th spot with the signings after losing?
Yeah, I mean
Isak?
they can challenge. They're still a very good team, and they're very hard to beat with the midfield that they've got, and they've got a good team there. But it's obviously still a downgrade for where they were last season in terms of Isaac to Voltmader or Wissa.
Added Ramsey in there.
Yeah, Ramsey's a good player as well.
That guy from Milan, the defender.
Yeah, look, they made some decent signings, but I still think when you're looking at their firepower, they're weaker than what they were last season.
Yeah, because I think Isaac will probably score more than Voltmader and Wissa combined.
Probably, and Voltmader's a massive risk as well. Like young player coming out from the Bundesliga. It will take him time to settle, in my opinion. But people are saying they've gone for the Crouch Defoe kind of thing with the big and small striker.
Yeah, kind of. But good point for Leeds. Fair play to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up is Brighton 2, Manchester City 1. Both of us went for Man City wins, and 0 points on the board for this one. And it really was the kind of old tale of a game of two halves, this one, because I thought Man City, obviously they go 1-0 up in the first half, look good value for the lead as well, were creating chances. Second half, Brighton just came out and absolutely blitzed them, didn't they?
Yeah, it's a classic state of, if you don't kill the game off, that can happen. And it felt like in the latter stages of the game, Brighton just were taking advantage of a City team who were tiring, didn't have the options off the bench to sufficiently change the game, and they really took advantage. And fair play to them. Brighton can do that too. They're a very good footballing team. And Hertzler, I think more people need to be talking about him because I think he's done a great job there. He's done a fantastic job, and at such a young age, like they finished just outside the European spots last year. They've had a decent window and some good performances already this season. So fair play to Hertzler. Like he's doing some good things. And I thought late in the game, they really got the advantage of City. And if anything, they could have also, probably extended their lead. They looked closer to scoring another one before City were to equalise. And so fair play to Brighton. Great win. City will be kicking themselves. 2 losses in 2. Gone from everyone saying, "Oh, they're back in the top," me included. I'm not going to discount. I was saying they're back there in the title race. They, look at all the players they have. They've lost the subsequent 2 games, and they actually now looking back at it, they beat Wolves 4-0, who've just lost 3-3.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, it's like, how impressive have they been?
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, first, I guess it was against Wolves. Nobody took that into account when we were analysing Man City, and Reinders has been nowhere to be seen since that opening game. But Haaland, 3 goals in 3. He's kept up his standards.
Yeah, and look, I think it's probably a blip for City. Let's be honest, they'll probably get back to it, but it's got to be concerned at the moment how easily they were beaten by us. And in the end, at the end of that game against Brighton, they were really taken to the sword.
Yeah,
so it's got to be a concern.
Comment here from Malware. I knew I always loved you, Malware. I knew I always loved you. He says, why does Sim even bother playing
We're doing a Predict the Prem here. Why are you disrupting it with comments?
He says, why do you even bother? Ben White's the floor with him in predictions every year. It's too easy for Ben.
He gets lucky sometimes. I've won a couple, all right? Let's just calm down.
Nottingham Forest 0, West Ham 3. Well, we did say 3-0, but we said 3-0 to Nottingham Forest. And, judging on the way the first half was going, you expected Nottingham Forest to wipe the floor with West Ham. And West Ham somehow found something in that second half. They scored 1, and then the floodgates just opened.
Yeah, I think Graham Potter will be counting his lucky stars that they pulled out a result because he was under so much pressure going into this game. But fair play, what a result. 3-0. Incredible result away at a good Forest team. And
you won't find many teams to go away at Forest and win 3-0.
You know what? He changed up the formation, put in the new guy, Matheus Fernandes, and it paid dividends. Fair play to him. Credit to Potter because he did change it up, and it really paid off. I thought it was a really good counter-attacking display. I just felt like as well, as soon as they got the lead. Well, to be fair, I think 3-0 probably does flatter them a bit because they scored their first goal in 84 minutes and then blitzed them right at the end. So 3-0 probably put some gloss on it. I think maybe if they would have got the 1 goal and then seen out the win, that probably would have been a fairer reflection on the game. But look, they got the goals after. Paquetá with what's now an iconic celebration, putting the phone to his ear, throwing it away and kissing the badge. I think that's something West Ham fans are going to be rewatching for many years to come. And Callum Wilson getting on the score sheet, he's a striker they're going to be relying on heavily, I think, this season. And then Bowen as well. So look, they've got some good players. We said it, They do have some good players in their front line, and they've been used very wrongly. And look, great result. Whether they can kick on from this or is it a blip, we'll have to wait and see. But fantastic. Look, they defended a lot better in this game than they have done.
Do you feel like this result can kickstart West Ham's season?
Turning point.
Do you think it's a turning point, or do you think it's just kind of a one-off?
Well, we've got them next. Yeah, so I'm worried about that. I think it could be a turning point, to be fair, because they were just shocking. And from what I was seeing before, their players are much better than that. So I think this kind of, and as well, Paquetá staying and doing that kind of celebration, that public statement, it could definitely be a turning point.
To be fair, when he scored against Chelsea, he kissed the badge as well. There were still all those rumours of him leaving.
Yeah.
But Paquetá's actually, apart from West Ham starting the season poorly, Paquetá's actually been brilliant so far in the first 3 games.
It's true.
Let's go to the game of the weekend. Well, what was supposed to be the game of the weekend was Liverpool 1, Arsenal 0. Unbelievable goal to settle this tie, and that a goal, it had to be a goal like that. If a goal was going to be scored, and look, you're talking about goal of the season already, probably from Dominic Szoboszlai. You went for 1-1, I went for 2-1 to Arsenal, and there's a lot of criticism coming for Arsenal and Mikel Arteta about his team selection and about how kind of negative he went with his midfield. Eberechi Eze on the bench, where you thought with this Liverpool team, with the frailties that they've shown at the back so far, you thought if you have a go at Liverpool, they might crack.
Surely, yeah, that's what everyone was expecting, especially with how well Arsenal defend. I know they lost Saliba within 5 minutes, so like you got to give them a bit of understanding with that.
But that doesn't take into account for the selection at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got to. I think for me, the criticism I have of Arteta is, does he believe Arsenal are the best team in the league? Because if he does, then he goes there and tries to win. He tries to beat them. If you believe you're the best team, then go there without fear. You're going to see. Guardiola's not going to go to the Emirates and just pack out the midfield and try and nick a draw. That's not how he does things. He believes he's the best, and he's going to try and win. Yes, they don't always win, but that's the intention, and it's clear. It feels like Arsenal go there with an inferiority complex. I understand getting a draw at Anfield isn't the worst result. It's it's a good result in the context of things.
But managers have their own playing style, right? And I know Arteta, even when he comes to Tottenham, like he does that kind of tactics.
He doesn't go there doesn't drop Odegaard and drop,
He doesn't drop the players, but they drop very deep. They play a very defensive
They did
game.
last year because they had all those injuries, but they didn't have the options, I don't think. If I remember, Odegaard was injured and Rice was injured.
I mean, in a lot of away games, you see them just win 1-0 by a set piece. Like they're not adventurous when they go away from home at the best of times.
I just think if you believe you're the best team in the league, like when City, I remember that season, City and Arsenal were going.
Guardiola's a very different manager.
I'm just saying they're going toe to toe for the title, and City went to the Emirates and won 3-1, and like they really put their stamp on that. Like they didn't go there thinking let's just nick a draw here. Like they went to win, and I just think like if you believe you're the best team in the league, right? If that's your belief, then you should act like it. And they don't act like it. They act like they go to these places scared and with an inferiority complex. Let's try and nick a draw and let's just try and get out of there unscathed. Like they don't go there believing they're going to win. And that's the problem I have with how he approaches these games.
Yeah, I just think that's his managerial style. And I think that in his mind, what he's thinking is if we can win our home games and draw our away games, we'll win the title. I think that's where he's thinking.
Okay, well, they didn't win. They lost.
No, they didn't win, but that's the first time that they haven't lost against a title rival in how many years? And they still haven't won the league, I know, because they need to be getting results against everyone else. But this is the one time where everyone actually backed them to win, and they actually lost it, which I thought was quite funny.
Yeah, but given, as you say, Liverpool have very much been open so far this season.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that's the way he should have played it. But I don't think Arteta's ever going to go to one of these big games and open up and play a more attacking brand of football. I just don't think that's the kind of manager he is.
That's what I'm saying. And that's a problem. And that's I think, an issue with Arteta and his mentality. When people talk about mentality, it's not about like mentality like winners. It's just about, for me, it's like the mentality is, do you go into this game with the mentality that you're better than Liverpool? Because if you do, you should go and try and win. You should play Eze. You should back yourself to be able to defend properly and go and create chances. They didn't create diddly squat in that game. They didn't create a single chance.
Yeah.
Like I know Liverpool barely created anything, but they came up with the quality and they did, and Arsenal didn't.
Yeah.
And Arsenal made it into an awful game.
It looked like Gyökeres was playing with a pair of Timberlands on or something while playing the game yesterday. I mean, Gyökeres, I said it last week and I was kind of half joking, but I'm now starting to believe it a little bit. Like I know it's only been 3 games, but I feel like Gyökeres is just going to be a massive stat padder against like the kind of bottom teams.
Which, Arsenal fans will argue
that's what they need.
That's what they need. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I think first 3 games, I know you got a brace against Leeds, but look, against United and against Liverpool, not been great, has he?
No, not at all. But that was the Arsenal game. So Liverpool, obviously, we didn't speak about much. They didn't really create much during the game either.
Also, yeah, they didn't. This is before they signed Isaac as well. So another reason, this was a great opportunity to really get a result against them.
Yeah.
So this is a massive blow for Arsenal, I think. The fact.
I mean, to be fair though, like when Liverpool play against anyone at Anfield, they usually create bucket loads of chances, and still they weren't able to do that.
Yeah, because they played 3 defensive mids, and look, and fair enough. That's Arsenal set up like that, they nearly got the job done. But the thing is, when you play like that, you have to get the result, because if you don't, you open yourselves up 100%. To criticism.
Yeah, 100%. I don't disagree with that. But look, they got the job done. Unbelievable free kick. And that was a goal fit to win any game, wasn't it?
What a goal Schobber's like. And he's been threatening to score a goal like that ever since he's come to Liverpool. And for some reason, we haven't seen that from him too much. Because when Leipzig, he used to bang them in quite regularly.
Yeah.
But what a free kick, man. What a free kick. Incredible.
Didn't he score an unbelievable goal for Hungary as well at the Euros or the World Cup or something? I mean, this guy's got a shot on him.
He does. And he played a right back in this game and played an unbelievable game. Fair play to him. Fair play to Slot for picking him ahead of Bradley in that position because it worked a treat. And they found a solution. So fair play and brilliant win for Liverpool. And are they favourites now for the title with Isaac coming in?
Isaac, Guehi obviously.
That steals off, that really would have made them favourites.
I think that would have made them favourites. But I think even, beating Arsenal, also going away to Newcastle and winning is massive. So I don't think you should discredit that. So, look, the thing is for me with Liverpool, they haven't been at their best in the first 3 games of the season. They're still winning these games. So that's a massive telltale sign that,
3 tough games as well.
Exactly. So as they grow into the season, they're only going to get better, in my opinion, Liverpool, with the calibre of player that they have and the talent that they've just brought in. So, I'd be massively worried if I was an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, the only worry for Liverpool, big worry, I would say, for Liverpool is Konate, I think, went off injured in this game, and their backup, I think, is Gomez. So, and if he gets injured, I don't know who they play. Whereas Arsenal, Mosquera came in at least. They've got Hincapié now.
He looked good as well, Mosquera.
So they've got a lot of depth in that position.
Yeah. But look, Liverpool take the points. So there'll be a massive 3 points of this as well. But last but not least, Aston Villa 0, Crystal Palace 3. Palace absolutely tore Villa a new one in this one. 3-0 at Villa Park, where, cast your mind back to last season, Villa Park was such a hard place to go. Well, pretty much ever since Emery has come in, Villa Park has been such a hard place to go. Now they've had 2 games at home there, 0-0 and losing 3-0. Haven't scored a goal this season. What is going on with Aston Villa?
Well, it's a shit show there. Emi Martinez as well, staying after Marcos Bizot.
Marcus Bizot?
Marcos Bizot. That's all he can say, apparently. Just repeating himself. And what do you reckon? Is he going to reinstate him, or is he going to go with Marcos Bizot?
No, he's going to reinstate him.
For Marcos Bizot. Marcos Bizot.
Next they'll ask him, where's Marcus Bizot?
Everybody. So
if you're a top tier interviewer, you're going to ask him, where the hell is Marcus Bizot?
Exactly. There seems to be a mess at the moment. There seems to be a real frustration with how their window's gone. Look, to be fair, I think they got Sancho over the line today. I don't know who else they got signed, but they got him. So that's obviously something to, don't know, maybe be happy about. I mean, they reinvigorated Rashford, so maybe they can feel the same with Sancho. But I mean, their window's been awful. They've sold Ramsey. They haven't kicked on from last season. Emre has cut a frustrated figure. Sometimes that, when he's frustrated, that seeps down to the team. They've played awfully in these first few games. I mean, it's tough times for Villa at the moment. But then Palace as well. I mean, they won brilliantly, and they've been playing well, but not all well is there. I mean, they kept Guehi, I guess, but they've replaced Eze. I don't know, Solomon signed? I don't know if that's happened, but I've just read, by the way, apparently Glasner did threaten to leave if Guehi was sold.
I'm not surprised, man.
So, I mean, when that's happening, it doesn't sound like all is well there as well, but Guehi did stay. Great result for Palace, just brilliant. One going there, wiping the floor, winning 3-0. But I think it says more where the state of Villa is at the moment.
Yeah, Villa just look an absolute shit show. How can you not score in your first 3 games? Especially when you've got players like Ollie Watkins up front. Their first team hasn't really changed that much from last season. So why are they so hard to beat last year, particularly at home? And then they're getting dicked on 3-0 by Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
So massive concern if you're a Villa fan. Crystal Palace, they haven't lost yet. 2 draws in the first 2 games, one against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and they've gone away to Villa and won 3-0. So good start to the season for Palace.
Good start, but we'll see if Glasner gets frustrated during the season or not.
And last but not least, we go to the Star Men. It was a Forest head-to-head, and it was an absolutely generational stinker. So Morgan Gibbs-White and Chris Wood both do absolutely nothing. So 0 points there. I extend the gap to 14 points, but a lot of points still to play for. And we'll be back in about a week's time, I guess.
Yeah, we'll be about 10 days.
Yeah.
10 days' time, new fixtures, new signings to think about as well. All
Yeah.
big stuff.
Absolutely.